Hey everyone, today I'm going to give you a tutorial on installing and using the program ComfyUI for generating images. ComfyUI is an app that you can use to generate images in different ways, like generating an image from text, generating an image from a different image, or doing other things such as image upscaling. It will use your downloaded models, checkpoints, and LoRa's, along with some other configuration to generate the image that you want. In this tutorial, I will try to keep it basic and I will simply show you how to download ComfyUI, install it, and then download a model and use it to generate a basic image. So let's dive into it. Before we download ComfyUI, let's talk about the system requirements. First, you will need to download Python. 3.12 is recommended. You can download it from the official Python website, which I will link in the description. Next is the hardware requirements. Now the hardware requirements will depend on what you want to do with this program. So for example, if you want to generate an image with flux, you will need a very powerful video card, while if you want to generate an image with stable diffusion, you can get away with having a weaker video card. According to the official ComfyUI page, ideally you will have an NVIDIA GPU, which is at least a 3000 series and above. And the more VRAM you have in your GPU, the better. Other video cards are supported as well, but may not work as well as an NVIDIA video card. At the very least, you should have around 8 GB of VRAM, preferably 12, and you also need 16 GB of RAM. You might also need some disk space if you're going to be installing a lot of checkpoints and base models. Personally, my ComfyUI folder is taking up 215 GB of space, simply because of all of the checkpoints that I've installed. So you'll need to keep that in mind. Now we can download ComfyUI. So first what you have to do is go to this website, which I will link in the description. Press download for Windows or Mac, whatever you use. This will download this ComfyUI setup file, so click that. If you have this window, then just press run. Here you can change the destination folder if you want, and then just click install. Now press finish, and click this button right here. If you have an NVIDIA video card, make sure the NVIDIA CUDA is selected and press next. In this folder right here, you will be able to install additional files for ComfyUI, such as checkpoints or LoRa's or anything else like that. So make sure you remember this folder's location, then press next, and then click install. Now you just wait for it to install. Now you should see this screen, which will offer you to select a template. This is not necessary, you can just close it. And if at some point you do want to choose a template, then you can just go to this tab right here called templates, and you will see the same screen again. Now what you see here is an empty workflow, and you can't really do anything with this. So what we're gonna do is we're actually going to download an example workflow so that we can use the program and actually generate something. Now before we install a workflow, you also need to understand how to use the ComfyUI manager, which is this button right here, which opens this window. And here we have the model manager button, and if you click that, you will see a list of different models that you can install. And let's try to install one of these. So I will install the Stable Diffusion XL base model, which is this one right here, Stable Diffusion XL base model. Just click install. After your model has been installed, you will see this text here. To apply the install model, please click the refresh button, so just do that. And now you can just press back and close. If ComfyUI still doesn't detect your model, you can just open the manager and press the restart button here. And now it should be fine. You can also open this models tab and press checkpoints, SDXL, and you can see the model right here. The other thing you need to know about in the manager section is the custom nodes manager, where you can install custom nodes. At this point you probably still don't know what a node is, and I will explain that later, but for this tutorial you don't actually need any custom nodes, but it's very likely that you will need them in the future, so just remember about the custom nodes manager. And the way you install them is the same as with the models. You just find the node that you want, press install, and then restart ComfyUI, and that's it. Now we can go ahead and install an example workflow. In the description below the video, I will link you this page, ComfyUI examples, where you can find many examples for different models and use cases for workflows for ComfyUI. In this tutorial, we will use the SDXL example, this one, and the way you actually load the example workflow is you save this example image right here. Then you open up ComfyUI, and inside ComfyUI you take this image that you've saved and you simply drag it into the empty workflow area, and now you have the workflow installed. Now when you first see this, it might look very confusing to you with all of these squares and cables connecting them. It's actually not that complicated. Essentially each of these squares is a node, And you can connect nodes to different nodes via these cables that you see here. And you can think of each node as a sort of a component that performs a certain function, which sometimes has some parameters that you can modify. So for example, there is this empty latent image node, which controls the output resolution of your image, so you can change here the width and the height. You have the prompts here. There is a positive prompt and a negative prompt. The positive prompt is essentially a description of your image that the image generator will use to generate your image. The negative prompt, the one here, is usually a set of keywords that you will use that should not appear in the image. So you can see here text and watermark. That means we don't want any text or any watermarks to appear in our generated images. Also, in the example workflows that you download, these nodes will also have these texts attached to them that provide a description for what the node does. If you have some experience with ComfyUI, you probably don't even need those and you can just delete them and thus make your workflow cleaner. But if you're new to this, I suggest reading them first. Now, before we generate an example image, there are a couple of important things that we have to do. First, we have to save this workflow by simply pressing Ctrl S, and then you can change the name if you want to. And once you've saved the workflow, it will be stored here in the Workflows tab. All of your workflows will be stored here. The next important thing is to make sure that we have all of the required files that we need for this workflow to work. First, we have the STXL base model, which we've downloaded previously. You have to click it and you have to make sure that it is actually available here, which it is, because we downloaded it. Except, as you can see, once I've clicked it, the folder is actually different. It was not in the root folder of the models, but it was in the STXE folder, so the name has changed. Every time you download a new workflow, you will have to find all the nodes that load some sort of a file. There are nodes that load the base models like this one, but in other workflows you might encounter nodes that will load different files as well. And in each of them you have to click the name of the file like this and select the corresponding file that you have on your computer to make sure that it's loaded properly. Now the second model here is the refiner model, and as you can see we actually don't have it because we only installed the STXL base model. If I run this workflow like this, you will see it will immediately tell me that the prompt execution failed because of this refiner model that we do not have. Value not on list, checkpoint name, STXL refiner. We didn't download it, so it cannot run the workflow. So let's fix that. To fix that, you have to perform the same steps that we did to download the STXL base model. So you go to the manager and the model manager, and we have to find the refiner. So I will type STXL and scroll down, and you can see it here. Stable Diffusion XL refiner model, and the file name corresponds to what we've seen on that node. So let's install that. Now that the model is installed, we will refresh ComfyUI. And now when you click this, you will see both of the models that you've installed. So select the refiner. As you can see again, the folder structure changed a little bit. And now an image should generate if we run this workflow. Of course, we will have to wait a little bit. You can see the progress right here and here. And there is also a queue tab. So we have one image in our queue and you can see it's running and it's generating something. Now the image has finished generating. You can see the output image here and you can see it here as well. And you can also go to your ComfyUI folder and output, and you will see it there as well. If you want, you can also generate multiple images by changing this number here, batch count. So you can press the arrow up. We'll try to generate 4 images now. And as you can see, there are 4 images in the queue. And as you can see now, we have 5 different images of this bottle generated. And that's pretty much it. Of course, there are some more important information I didn't tell you. For example, some of the parameters here that you can change and the steps numbers. I tried to keep this video very basic and to just get you to the point where you can generate an image at all. But I will make more videos and I will talk about all of these other things as well. But again, in the example workflow, you have these nodes that are attached to the nodes. And in the nodes, you have a full explanation of what each of these parameters actually does. That was all for this tutorial, guys. I hope the video was clear, and I hope you were able to successfully install ComfyUI and generate an image. And I will see you in the next videos where I will be talking about some of the other things that you can do and teach you some more advanced concepts.